The Ukrainian situation is only at its very beginning. I think that what we're going to experience now is a kind of calm before the real storm begins. Because as Ukraine starts to feel itself out once again, the sharp divisions in the society are going to make themselves more and more exposed. The economic situation is not going to relieve itself by itself. It needs solid governmental policy. Government is not going to be able to construct a policy because it doesn't have national mandates. The national bloc politic is too deeply divided. So it will take too long, I think, for the government to be able to initiate policies because of the internal stagnation, which means that Ukraine is not going to have enough cash and enough of a cash flow to deal with the essential problems that have been facing the country until now. That's only going to inspire, it's like a merry-go-round, it's going to inspire more groups to kind of fracture away from the main opposition party, as well as the formerly pro-Yanukovych parties. And so you're going to have, I think, a serious economic problem and political problem that now we've only seen the tip of the iceberg. Russia is, of course, a very important actor in this, and it's likely that Russia will play a more active role in Ukraine in stirring up trouble ever since Putin's kind of last days of the Olympic embarrassment with the ousting of his friend and ally, Yanukovych, who is now probably in Russia debriefing Mr. Putin about the situation. So it seems likely that Russia is going to look for or seek some kind of re-entry into Ukraine. It will probably, if I have to play the game of futurology, it will probably involve something to do with Sevastopol. Perhaps the government of Ukraine will suggest, probably not take any concrete action, but suggest that the Russian base should be closed because Ukraine cannot join NATO so long as there is Russian military personnel on its territory. So given that fact, and given the fact that now there's almost a newly, maybe a refurbished ambition of the Ukrainians, at least the West Ukrainians, to join the association agreement and to make amends with the EU after the fracture, it could be that they will also start talking about getting rid of the Russian forces from their territory in a reneging of the deal that was signed just a couple of years ago, thereby opening up once again the route for NATO membership. At that point, you'll see a greater Russian intervention into Ukraine, if not direct military intervention. The Russians can simply not afford to lose a Black Sea port, their Black Sea port, and the Crimea, in this case, will act as the casus belli for a wider regional conflict. I think that nobody really wants a conflict, but I think if push came to shove, the Russians would rather engage in a limited conflict in Ukraine to preserve its position rather than have to deal with the next 50 years of instability that would come from not taking decisive action.